Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are welcome to class. This is PhD in accounting, and specifically, we are looking at International Public Sector Accounting Standard, IPSAS ACCRUAL. A while ago, a couple of weeks, while in Nigeria, we had a physical contact in class, and we look at case one. As you can see, first time adoption of IPSAS. This is case one. And a quick recap, I remember I drew our attention that before the adoption of IPSAS ACCRUAL, there are three major ways we prepare financial reports in the public sector. We have the cash basis, and when we talk of cash basis, we are talking of statement number one, statement number two, statement number three, and statement number four. Statement of cash flow. We have the statement of asset and liabilities. We have the statement of consolidated revenue fund and statement of capital development fund. Then we say another basis of preparing financial report in the public sector entity. Well, when we say PSEs now, specifically, we are talking about ministries, departments, and agencies for the 36 states, FCTA, and the 774 local governments. So the second way we prepare before the adoption of IPSAS ACCRUAL was the accrual basis. And I gave an example that by divine grace and election, I was an accountant in Nigerian law school before joining Nasarawa State University in 2003. As a matter of fact, I resigned from law school straight to the university. And as at then, in Nigerian law school, under the accrual accounting basis, we prepare what is called income statement, which is income and expenditure account. We prepare balance sheet, we prepare cash flow statement, and we prepare value added statement. Then we have another way we prepare financial reports in the public sector, which is known as monthly transcripts. Monthly transcripts are just receipts and payment, anything that has to do with cash. Then we now say, according to the timetable as approved by the subcommittee of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, it is expected that all ministries, departments, and agencies ought to have converted whatever they have been doing before now to opening statement of financial position. So step number one, when we are talking of conversion or adoption of IPSAS ACCRUAL, is for you to now collect all those financial statements, prepare under cash basis or under accrual accounting basis or monthly transcript. You now convert it to what we call opening statement of financial position, which we saw in the class. We solved that question. And I remember one other thing I made sure you did. You use your hand to solve this question. The true test of understanding is your ability to single-handedly, even without supervision, sometimes pick a whole question and solve from start to finish. This is PhD class, not undergraduate. Remember also the key you need that when you are converting either from accrual accounting or cash basis or monthly transcript, all you need to do is to reclassify the items in the statement of asset and liability as we have it here. You can see existing statement of asset and liabilities. You reclassify them in accordance to the elements of the opening statement of financial position as prescribed by IPSAS 33. Then the other key information you need is for you to have a mental picture of the items required in the opening statement of financial position. And remember, I said for IPSAS ACCRUAL, when you talk of statement of financial position, assets are arranged in order of liquidity. But when you go to IFRS, as we are going to see in our next class, items or elements of the statement of financial position are arranged in order of durability. That's why if you check your solution again, when you come to the opening statement of financial position, you will see the very first item is current asset. And under that current asset, the first item is cash and cash equivalent. Before you talk about receivables, prepayment, and the rest. And once you have your current asset, then you bring in the non-current asset. When you match the current asset with the non-current asset, you have what is called total asset. Then the next subheading will be your current liabilities. Total together, all your items that make up the current liabilities, you have your total current liabilities. Add the non-current liabilities, you have total liabilities. And I said, from the total asset you have, subtract your total liabilities, you have what is called net asset. And this net asset you arrive at by deducting total liabilities from total asset must now be equal to the second method or second way you can compute your net asset, which is capital grants plus reserves. Capital grants plus reserves. You get that? Capital grant plus reserve. So if the two net assets agree, then you are done with the opening statement of financial position. That is step number one in adopting IPSAS ACCRUAL. Ladies and gentlemen, we now went a step further in your class then to look at step number two. Now that I've converted all the financial statements prepared under cash basis or accrual accounting or monthly transcript, I've converted it into opening statement of financial position as at 1st January 2016. That was the date given to us in Nigeria. The next thing is to now see the transactions that transpired from that 1st January to the end of the year. When you now want to prepare the financial statement for the end of the year after conversion at the beginning of the year, you now go to IPSAS 1, General Purpose Financial Statement. And there we say, what are the financial statements expected of us to prepare? We have the statement of financial position, statement of financial performance, statement of changes in net asset, statement of cash flow. I said, for ministry, department, and agency who also want to publish their financial statement, they are now expected to disclose budget information included in published financial statement. And to find the format, or how do I prepare the budget that I'm going to include in my published financial statement, IPSAS 24. Check IPSAS 24. You will see the format there. Now, once you are done with this, I've prepared all those statements prescribed by IPSAS 1. The question somebody will ask, am I IPSAS ACCRUAL compliant? That is, you have a ministry or department or agency, they have informed you as an expert or as a PhD doctor or as a consultant doctor. We have converted our financial statement hitherto prepared under cash basis. We have converted it to opening statement of financial position. Then we have also even prepared our final account or financial statement for one whole year after the conversion. And among others, we have prepared statement of financial position, statement of financial performance, statement of cash flow, statement of changes in net asset, then budget information to be included in published financial statement, and notes to the account. They now ask the question, are we IPSAS ACCRUAL compliant? The answer is no. One limitations of IPSAS is this, flexibility. As a matter of fact, when you pick up this standard and you read, they will tell you whether you use the vertical method or you use the horizontal method when you are preparing your account, all is allowed. Yeah, but the only thing is they will tell you meet the minimum disclosure requirement as prescribed by the IPSAS itself. See where flexibility comes in now, where that one is a limitation. The same IPSAS document now said, after meeting the minimum requirement, any other report within your local jurisdiction that will bring about accountability, transparency, and comparability, you are allowed to do it. You can go ahead. It is as a result of this provision or proviso that the subcommittee of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, Nigeria, now said, okay, in addition to meeting the minimum requirement of IPSAS ACCRUAL, all ministries, departments, and agencies are also expected to prepare what we call performance reports. Ladies and gentlemen, and when we talk of this performance report, we have 5 of them. That is where we are starting our class from today. I just did a recap. And when we talk of this performance report, we have what is called the monthly revenue performance report. Some call it monthly revenue performance report or revenue performance report. And what do you mean by this performance report? I will just use the function the report play to explain it. You know, when you say performance report, it's always good for you to have a standard you set for yourself if you really want to achieve your goals in life or as an organization. When you set a standard, which we call in management accounting, we call it standard costing and budgetary control. Budget. You set a standard for yourself, you now measure your performance. What have I done? Have I met the standard I've set? Find the reason for variance so you can go and find a corrective measure. So the revenue performance report basically set out the revenue that a ministry or agency or department is expecting for the whole year. Set out okay, from this particular head, we are expecting 50 billion, for example. You will now access yourself at the end of the first quarter. If I'm expecting 50 billion for the whole year, and as at the end of first quarter, I've only realized 5 billion. Have I tried? So performance report, revenue performance report will put you on your toes. Maybe you are not putting in all relevant strategies for the revenue drive. Or take another example, you are expecting 100 billion from a particular head for a whole year, and you are now in the third quarter. You have only 3 months to go. And out of the 100 billion, it's only 10 billion you have realized so far. Ladies and gentlemen, if the bulk of the revenue you are expecting is not allocated or is not expected within the last quarter of the year, and it is supposed to be within the first 3 quarters of the year, you will know you have not done well. I'm expecting 100 billion in a whole year, and first quarter is gone, second quarter is gone, third quarter is gone. I've only realized 10 billion. So this revenue performance report will put you on your toes now. Okay, how do we do? How do we mobilize the relevant strategies in order to realize more revenue before the end of the year? So that is what that will do. When we see the template will explain it more. Another important performance report we have is what is called recurrent expenditure performance report. Recurrent. And when we say recurrent here, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying every builder, every organization, every investor, every developer who really want to get result, we count his cost before embarking on a project. The same thing. You set for 2027, that's okay, let's say 2026 financial year. Our overhead cost account with specific attention, let's say salaries, is 80 billion. That is our salary. You set a stand. This is our budgeted expenses, 80 billion. Then you look at the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter in 2026, how much have we paid and how much are we owing by way of salaries? Because in accounting, Accrual and matching concept is saying whether they are paid for or they are not paid for, it must be accounted for. So you have 80 billion for the whole year to pay salaries of staff. And as at the end of first quarter, the amount you have paid out by way of salaries, 40 billion, and the amount you are owing is 20 billion. So when you have 20 billion plus 40 billion, that's 60 billion is already gone. And out of how much for a whole year? 80 billion. So you have 80 billion for a whole year. At the end of first quarter, you have paid 60 billion by way of 40 billion cash paid to workers, and you are owing 20 billion. It means for the remaining 9 months, you have only 20 billion left. That one will put you on your toes also. Okay, how do we do? Do we start arranging on how to get loans or how to get more allocation from government or how to carry out what we call right sizing or downsizing? That is the focus of recurrent expenditure performance report. Another one we have, there are 5 of them. The third one is capital expenditure performance report. Ladies and gentlemen, capital expenditure performance report operate in a similar fashion as the recurrent expenditure performance report. But the key difference is that whereas the recurrent expenditure performance report focus on recurrent items, overheads, recurrent items such as salaries, such as electricity, such as wages, such as maintenance, and the rest. Capital expenditure focus on projects. So in a similar fashion, you have a capital project that will go up 200 billion. And maybe the duration of the year expected of the project to be completed, the number of years, let's say 1 year, I'm just giving an example. Most capital projects lifespan lasts beyond 1 year. That's why we even call some of them capital projects. We are saying for this financial year, the capital we have committed for this capital project for construction, whether bridge or road or whatever, or building, is 200 billion. And you notice that within the first quarter, 150 billion is already gone. It means you have 50 billion left. Again, we may not conclude that you are not doing well. You first look at the percentage of the project completed. For example, if at the end of first quarter, the project has been completed maybe to the tune of 90%, just remaining 10%, you cannot say you have wasted money. You cannot say you have not done well. As long as the remaining 10% completion left will be taken care of by your balance. So you are going to see this format. I ask you to download and copy to your laptops ahead of our presentation. You see there is a column for you to comment whether you are doing well or the organization is not doing well. Now, another performance report we need to prepare as ministries, departments, and agencies is the periodic bank reconciliation statement. And ladies and gentlemen, this one is not new to most of us. When it's a bank reconciliation statement, there are 2 ways you can do it. You can first prepare the adjusted cash book. So that once you are done with your balance as per adjusted cash book, the next thing you just do is a balance as per adjusted cash book, add unpresented checks, then less uncredited check. This thing is very easy. At least you pick your cash book. What are the items on the credit of my cash book that did not appear on the debit of my bank statement? Then you do the reverse. What are those items that I have recorded on my cash book on the credit, sorry, on the debit that are not on the credit of my bank statement? Once you do all this, you have your bank reconciliation statement. And all things being equal, if you have your adjusted cash book, balance as per adjusted cash book, you add unpresented check, you less uncredited check, the remaining balance is expected to agree with the bank statement. So that is that. The last report, the last performance report is the monthly cash advances report. monthly cash advances report. I will give you, will share an experience with us. It will help us drive home why we need this monthly cash advances report. Precisely in 2010, I was privileged to be I was privileged to be the accountant, the professional accountant in a committee set up by the federal government to go and carry out investigations into the financial affairs of federal universities in Nigeria. Anyway, we have different committees they set up. But for my own group, I was a professional accountant in the midst of other selected members of that committee. And our own university was in Lagos. We were lodged in Best Western Hotel then. Anyway, when we got to this university, number one, I've checked quickly. I just skimming and scanning. I've gone through their records. I realized number one, this university collects school fees instrumentally. They don't mandate their students to pay all at once. Number two, I also realized that a particular year, that's my discovery now, even before we summoned the bossa of that university. I also discovered that in a particular year, they gave out 100 million naira as cash advance to a staff. So I checked their record to see evidence of retirement within that year. I couldn't find. The following year, I now saw in their cash flow statement the same amount. They say acquisition of one property. I've taken note of all this. There are a lot of anomalies. Again, I checked their record. I did not see any evidence of bank reconciliation. So when we summoned the boss of this university, come and sit down, I started asking him questions. He said, sir, I've gone through your books and I realized you have thousands of students spread across the country. And I also realized that instrumental payment of school fees is allowed. Can you please show me the records, the ledgers, whether electronic or manual, that you are keeping for each of your students in their thousands across the nation that shows amount owed by each student at that particular time? The guy looked at me, he said they don't have. So how do you take record of your school fees collection? He said they have outsourced it to a company. And what the company does is after collecting, he will now remit in bulk. So how do you now trace the money paid to each other? The guy said, for the number of years, we are actually carrying out a post-mortem investigation. Capital has been allocated. We just want to see whether those capital allocation has been judiciously utilized. That was our function. The money has been spent. Anyway, don't let me quickly jump to conclusion. But from my experience there, ladies and gentlemen, we are all Nigerians. This one that many of us blame our leaders, we blame our president, both past one and present, we blame Tinubu, who is not doing well. We blame IBB, we blame Obasanjo, we blame even Buhari, who is late of blessed memory. It's not their fault only. They may have their own. Is it Buhari now or Obasanjo? It was during Goodluck Jonathan. Is it Goodluck Jonathan now that have come to organization and said they should not do the right thing? Or is it now President Tinubu that is the cause of fraud that is going on in ministries, department, or agencies? Anyway, when I asked this guy another question, I said, sir, I've also realized that there was a cash advance of 100 million. Is there any evidence of retirement? No answer. There was no evidence of retirement. Then I asked it, in short, when I was about asking the third question, that guy openly, even in the midst of other professionals, other team members there, he said, Oga, he stood up, he said, Oga, I bet we are professional members, and we are professional colleagues, because he's also a member of one of the professional associations in Nigeria. So I beg, Oga, we are professional colleagues. Anyway, I did all my report, my findings. And I remember one day we were in the hotel room when the VC of that university, they call me from the reception that the VC want to see me. I said, okay. I think I asked them to come in or something like that. And they have one customized bag like that. And they customize it with the name of their university. And inside that bag, of course, money to. And I asked the first question. I asked, say, sir, Oga, you want to give me money? And the VC said, no, this one is not bribe. It's just to appreciate you for cooperating with us, at least for drawing our attention to the areas we have lapses or so. Anyway, I will not tell you whether I collected that money or not. But then, if at all I did collect that money, let me tell you the reason. It is your own money, my own money, in the hand of privileged few that has now find its way back into the hand of one of the rightful owners. That's the mentality. And if I did not collect that money, it means I don't want my integrity and independence to be tampered with. But ladies and gentlemen, the reality about that investigation is that whether I collect money or not, I never change all my findings. I reported exactly the way I've seen it there. They have some big for nothing project. So ever since then, they have been saying, this monthly cash advances report, we have many ministries like that too, that they give them advance, they go, you will see some people 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they will not retire anything. And yet we say Nigeria is corrupt and we blame it on leaders. Our own challenge is not only on leaders, even followers. We have our own. But just few days ago, after praying in the night, I went back to bed again and I was quiet in the spirit to hear what the Spirit of God is saying. I was not even praying, thinking about Nigeria. And what I heard is a new Nigeria is coming. So that new Nigeria is in our hands. PhDs, professionals, academics. If we begin to change one after the other, then the desired change will come for our nation. We will not give up. So, having seen this, let's quickly launch our templates. We'll begin to solve the problem now. I'm just giving foundation to what we need to do. All right. I will still share this. Let's quickly, please, you all have your question. See my screen. Performance reports. I don't have hard copy of this here, so I may rely on maybe the class governor, if he's online, he can unmute or a volunteer can unmute and be giving me the figure. Huh? But don't worry, I can also find a way around it. Now, case study one, the following performance and the following information relates to the operations of a public sector entity in respect to revenue for the period ended 31st March 2016. Annual budget. Can you see that? Share of statutory revenue, 80,000. Everything is in millions. So share of excess crude account, independent revenue, tax revenue, personnel taxes, then revenue for the month of March. See it, the same heading we have there. Share of statutory revenue, see it, 15,000. Share of, then revenue from January to March. That means the revenue they have realized from these various heads, January, February, and March inclusive. We are giving required. Prepare the monthly revenue budget performance report for the period ended 31st March 2016. I'll just take all this question. Then question
Bia,
number two, case study
Igbo
two.
Mochi.
Please mute yourself. Mute yourself. Case study two, I will take the following information relates to the operations of a public sector entity in respect to recurrent expenditure for the period ended 31st March 2016. Now, you see personnel costs, 44,000, pension, 35,000, gratuity, 41, overhead costs, 42,000, travel and transport general, 37,000, everything in millions. Expenditure for the month of March, personnel costs, pension, gratuity, overhead costs, travel and transport general. The expenditure from January to March, we are also giving. See the area I'm going now. Liabilities committed. The meaning is that these items you are seeing under liabilities committed are due for payment, but they are not paid. And in accrual accounting, we recognize expenses that are due but not paid. What is the requirement? Prepare the monthly recurrent expenditure performance report for March 2016. So I will stop sharing this question. The next thing I will do is to bring out the template. In exam, is biro and paper. You may not be allowed to use your laptop. If it's the kind of exam where laptops are allowed, we will just ask you to use Excel. We may not give you any template because as an accountant, a modern day accountant, we expect every accountant. I advise people, even if you don't know how to use any accounting software, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet is a necessity for the modern day accountant. All right, what I'm going to do next is just watch. I have this template I've shared on your platform. It will make our work easier. In the next 10-15 minutes, we are done with the solution, maximum 30 minutes. See the template I shared, IPSAS. See it here, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at this template, check your class platform. If you don't have it, go and download. See the way it is arranged here. This sheet, recorded expenditure, capital expenditure, revenue, returns performance, see bank reconciliation statement, and cash advances report. But question number one is asking us to work on what? Question one is revenue. Please check very well. So this is what we need, the template for the revenue performance report. To answer that question one, please pay attention. I'm going to do something to make my own work easier. Let me use the soft copy. So that I'll just copy question IPSAS ACCRUAL. All right. So question one says we should prepare what? Prepare the monthly recurrent, no, is revenue. Question one says we should prepare the monthly
The
revenue
monthly
budget performance. Thank you very much. All right. So I stop sharing. I'll go back to IPSAS. See it here. So what we need to do, please pay attention. Can you see the format here? 31st March, that's the end of first quarter. Now we have revenue head here. We have annual budget. We have the revenue this month, revenue today, percentage achieved on budget, then your remarks. So I will go back to my question. I will look at the very first item. The very first item, annual budget, is share of statutory revenue, and the amount there is 80,000. So I paste here, share of statutory revenue. Then see the annual budget on this is 80,000. I will type 80,000. Somebody help us. What is the revenue this month? And somebody unmuted. Revenue for the month of March, 15,000. Is it correct? For share of statutory revenue, then
15,000.
thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Then revenue from January to March, 20, revenue to date. That's 27,000, right?
Yes.
Enter. Please pay attention now. The meaning is that for this revenue head, 80,000, everything in millions, is expected for the whole year. Out of that, they will realize 15,000 for month of March. Then revenue to date from January, February, and March inclusive, 27,000. Please mute yourself. Let me mute everybody. All right. Now check something now. Percentage achieved on budget. See what you're gonna do. It's one of the reasons we recommend. I know some of you know Excel and you know many other accounting software, but then there are new things coming up. New things coming up. Some of you who are members of ICANN or ANAN can do direct membership to ACCSA Global. See what you do here. Equal to, if you look at this place, see 5. The formula is even given. That's percentage achieved on budget equal to, I will click on this. Sorry, I'll click on this rather. That's 5. Can you see 5 up here? That is revenue to date. We are looking for 80,000 or 80 trillion for the whole year. And as at the end of March, this is what we have generated, 27. See what I'm doing? I will now say slash. What is our number 3? That's column 3 here. 80. It's like out of 80,000, we have achieved 27,000. You press enter. This is 34%. Ladies and gentlemen, this remarks is now left for you to do your comment, to see what could be the reason. Have we tried? If somebody did not say well done, you tell yourself well done. If you feel you have tried something that is for the whole year, just first quarter, we have achieved 34%. All right.
Mm.
The next thing we'll do, I will just do for only 2. You will go and complete yourself. See, the next heading is share of excess crude oil. See it here. I have that. I want to enlarge this. No, the amount is what again? Share of excess crude oil, annual budget 78. I will type
78,000.
78. Thank you very much. 78,000. Then revenue for the month of March, 14,000. Then share of
Yeah.
excess crude to match 34,800. Is that correct?
Yes.
34,800.
Yes.
That
Correct.
see the beauty of Excel now. To do the percentage, I don't need to be applying equal to again. I will just come here, drag this place, drag this, watch, automatic, I have 45%. By implication, for this particular revenue head, as at the end of first quarter, the entity have achieved 45%. This is where we stop. You continue the order yourself. Let's go to question number 2. Question 2 is asking us to do recurrent expenditure. Recurrent expenditure. See the template here for recurrent expenditure. That's question 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this format. In exam, you are not going to be allowed to use laptop, so you won't have the template. Number 2, the exam will not give you uh, template in hard copy. That's where you just need to form a mental picture of this format. Now, okay, they say recurrent expenditure performance report. The essence of that report is just to compare our budget with what we have spent in a particular month and to date and how much we are owing. Then find the difference or what is left over. See it here. For the first one here, particulars, expenditure, annual budget. See something. Actual expenditure this month. Then that's for the month of March. The actual expenditure to date, that is January, February, and March inclusive. Then liability committed. What are those things that are due for payment? You have enjoyed the service, you have enjoyed the benefit, but you have not paid. Those are the liability committed. You match both the liability committed and the one you have paid together. Then you will now find the difference between the liability committed and the one you have paid, deduct it from what has been made available for the whole year to give you the balance you have to work with. So if I go back to the question, case study 2, personnel cost is the first item there and it's 44,000. So I will go here. See, personnel costs
Well, can you
is
go
40.
back? You went out.
You say what?
This thing went out. I don't know whether it's peculiar to me or everybody, and just came back now.
Can you see personnel cost now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prof. I can see it now.
Please just hold on.
Yes, Prof. I can see it.
All right, now personnel cost. Have you seen that? So personnel cost. How much is the personnel cost from our question? That is 44,000, right?
44,000. Yes.
Thank you. What is the actual cost for the month? Let's see. Personnel
7,000
cost. No, is that much?
for the month 11, month of
Correct.
March.
So we put 11,000 here. Put 11,000. Then actual expenditure to date. That is January, February, that's a March 22. Do I have 22,000 there?
Correct.
Yeah.
22,000.
Now, please watch now. Liability committed. That means there are some personnel costs due but not paid as at this date. That one is also recognized in accrual accounting. And the
That's
amount I have here is 8,000. Thank you very much. 8,000. Now watch. Total expenditure and liability. It means I'm adding 5 and 6. This column 5 here. Actual expenditure today, that means January, February, and March. Then the liability committed, both for January, February, and March, that they have not paid. See what you just do? Equal to, I will click on this 22, shift key plus, click on 8, the other column. It give me 30,000. See where we are going now. The reasonability of this performance report is that, number one, for a whole year, personnel cost budget 44,000. I'm just using 44,000, but it's millions actually. But as at the end of first quarter, March, that's January, February, and March inclusive, 30,000 is already gone. It means for the remaining 9 months, this entity have how much left?
14,000.
14,000. This is where decisions will now be taken. How do we now manage this 14,000? Do we begin to look for other sources of revenue? Do we need to go and arrange for bank loan? Or are we ready to face the wrath of the workers, to hold them their salaries without paying? Are we ready to face the costs? Because some people, when they have worked, dignity of labor, they have put in their effort, you have to pay them. So that's the essence of all this now. Or are we going to right size or downsize? That's why we call it performance report. Because of time, there's no need I do the next one. You go and complete this yourself. We go to the next question, case 3.
Sorry, Prof. I don't know if I can take you back small, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, can you go just explain later to how we get that 30,000?
Okay, see
Under
something. Well, just hold on. Personnel costs budgeted for the whole year is 44,000. Everything, of course, in millions. See it up here. Then we say actual expenditure this month. If you check the date of this report, it's as at the end of March. It means for the month of March, 11,000 was paid. Then actual expenditure to date, it means from January, February, and March inclusive. Total is 22,000. Then liability committed, it means there are some people who have worked for this public sector entity, but have not been paid. And in accrual accounting, when you are recording, they call accrual matching concept. As long as the service has been delivered to you and the benefit has been enjoyed by you, whether you have paid for it or not, you should recognize it. So that is the 8,000 you are seeing here, liability committed. By the time, since you are accounting for the one you have paid and the one you are owing, the one you have paid is 22,000, the one you are owing is 8,000. The total is what? 30,000.
30.
That's how we arrive at the 30. And see the formula there in the formula bar equal to E8 plus E9 if you want to follow the formula bar there. Okay, here is E8 plus F8. But when you look up here, 7 is equal to 5 plus 6. And where is our 5? Look at it up here. 5 is 22,000, 6 is 28,000 rather. So this is what is left. Balance available. It means for the remaining 9 months for that year, they have just 14,000 to pay personnel costs. This is what we call a performance report. What do we do? There goes workers. Just recently, somebody shared something, I think from Taraba State, that every month they lost like, is it billions now? Do I say billions or hundreds of millions by way of ghost workers? Let's leave that one for another day. The next
Hello,
one,
sir.
Hello,
go
sir.
ahead.
Excuse, sir.
Hello,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Please, sir. In this particular personnel course,
Yes.
this final balance that shows us 14 out of 44, and we have spent already 30.
Yes.
I think this called for a little bit probe before we be sourcing for alternative means to meet up.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
we need to probe this personnel costs. Are there new entrants of labor? Or
Correct.
there is a problem with the budget setting? The budget
Correct.
that we set up at the beginning of the year. Is something wrong with it? And as we are
Yeah.
rightly said, are there any loopholes through ghost workers? Or are there, because if you look at this, this liability committed, who are the people that are supposed to earn this money that have not earned it and they are not complaining? That's 8,000. Maybe
Yeah.
this is how they have been accruing it every month. They say they commit in order to make sure in the subsequent month they defray that amount to reduce their cash inflow, and that's cash outflow to them. And at the end of the day, they say we have over budget. Everybody must be at the end of the year. This is how these government establishments are always owing their staff. What I can see from here, based on the reality that we have been hearing before, based on this line of report, it shows that there are some technical loophole that they are diverting the fund on personnel.
Yeah. And that is one of the objectives. This is one of the objectives this performance report is designed to achieve. So that I can query a lot of things. I've told you I've worked before, and do you know there are a lot of things happening. Where I say I work as an accountant before I joined the university, they carry out investigation, and that investigation even revealed that they were paying salary of somebody who was long dead, not even alive. We are not talking about, okay, it's another form of ghost worker. The ghost worker can be just fictitious name. We have had cases of people who put the name of their children in payroll and they are collecting the money. But this one, somebody who was long dead, not alive. All manner of things happening there. So the essence of the performance report is just to analyze and say, okay, let us dig deep. How can we budget 44 trillion or 44 billion, as the case may be, for a whole year? And 44 billion for a whole year. And now we are left with only 14,000 or 14 million just after the first quarter. A lot of questions to be asked. Somebody else is raising his hand. Please, contribution, Mohammed Awodi Abuba. Is it Abubakar? Unmute
Abubakar.
yourself.
Yes, I have. Prof, good evening.
Sonda kokari ka ci gaba da question haka.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I'm good. Okay, regarding this issue of the balance we have, apart from what my colleague has contributed or suggested,
Mm-hmm.
this issue of some people um, have been part of the budget for the year, and fortunately or unfortunately to one of the parties, they decide to leave the service. Some people are on secondment, some people have left the country, and they had already been captured in the budget for that year. So toward the end of the year, their emolument or entitlement is already been captured, but nobody is receiving the amount. And you
Okay.
realize that by the end of the year, you cannot account for that, that difference or excess. So,
Okay.
what are the possible issues, Prof?
At the end of
Thank
the
you, sir.
year, you cannot account.
Yes.
All right. Any other comment? Now, let me just put it this way. That some few years back, we have these foreign investors who said they are bringing in their billions, millions of dollars and pounds. They want to come and invest in Nigeria. As far as they were concerned then, Nigeria, that's when we talk of the public sector entities, they were not IPSAS ACCRUAL compliant. They look at our accounting system, they look at some of our internal control system. Our internal control system porous, not reliable, ineffective. Our accounting system is not actually reflecting the current reality. Even in the private sector, that's companies. Companies will report profit after tax of billions. They can tell you profit after tax 50 billion. Yet the same company is struggling to pay debt of 50 million naira. There are anomalies. We have if an executive, a chief executive who was frustrated that a company reported profit for 3 years in hundreds of millions, and yet they cannot make ends meet. And that executive concluded, he said, accounting profit are paper profit. They are illusory profit. And some of them also work with that mentality. The accountants practice what we call window dressing, makeup accounting, cosmetic accounting, income smoothing, different names. That when it is time to pay tax, there is a way an accountant will fine-tune the financial statement to pay less tax. When it is time to attract investors, there is a way you will play around with figures and attract people to come and invest. And when it is time to collect loan, manipulation. To answer your question, is one thing, no matter the sophistication or no matter the effectiveness of the standard we put in place in preparing our financial reports, as long as it is human being that will account for all these things, that will do the posting, that is not automatic, we post itself. As long as human being is involved, and that human being involved has tendency for corruption, is another waste of time. So that's the simple thing. It's not that we don't know the right thing to do, but the person saddled with the responsibility of doing this posting. I will you say somebody has been posted out of the country and they are even paying him in his new place, and yet you will still see the record of this person left somewhere. It's not ghosts that are causing the problem for us in Nigeria. And that is one of the key challenges we have. How many people now can confidently pick financial statement and say, I can rely on this? Even our external auditors, they also misled a lot of people. The external auditor will come in their auditor's report. They will say, in our opinion, the financial statement represents a true and fair view. They give you unqualified audit opinion, whereas there are a lot of things to be worried about. They've asked auditors before question, why did you give a clean report about this entity? You say all is well, whereas calamity is knocking at the door. And the auditor said, one of the reasons they give that in auditing, sampling is allowed. So some areas we did not sample the reason for the problem. They gave another excuse. They say in auditing also, any weakness you notice during the course of your audit, we are asked to summarize it in what we call internal control letter or letter of weakness or management letter. So we have summarized our findings there. They try to exonerate themselves. That's the whole thing I will tell you. There is nothing wrong with IPSAS ACCRUAL. There is nothing wrong with IFRS. Even the gap we are using before, nothing so much wrong with that. Huh? It is the human being. That's many things wrong with people. Even when you say internal control system, they will tell you one of the weaknesses or one of the limitations of internal control system, management override. Management override it. Somebody just have power somewhere, a lot of things. So until I've said this earlier, maybe you have not joined the class. Now until we change, there's nothing that can change in our country or organization. You know, again, let me digress a bit. We have what is called human resources accounting. Human resources accounting. And according to the proponent of that human resources accounting, they are saying invest all the billions in assets, invest in machine without the human element. These machines, this asset cannot do anything. So all I'm trying to say in summary is that if you want to build a system, build people. And the people you are building must be people with integrity. So once the accountant or the management in place are men of integrity, a lot of problem will be solved. It was Peter Drucker, one of the fathers of modern scientific management. Hear what Peter Drucker said. Say a manager might of himself know too little, perform poorly, lack in judgment, but may not cause damage as a manager. But where he lacks in character and integrity, he destroys. He destroys moral, he destroys spirit, he destroys organization, and eventually he destroys the nation. We are not saying, see, when they use the language that nobody is clean, no. You can't say nobody. There are some people who actually fear God, who will not tamper with anything corruption, what doesn't belong to them. I'll give you an example. I was a visiting lecturer in a particular institution. I'm not trying to justify, say, okay, Adebayo is 100%. I also have my limitation, but I want to give you a clear example. So one day, my student, when they finish, they were writing exams. They're preparing for exam. Okay, they're preparing for exam. So I finished a revision. I left the class. And the class governor followed me. Say, sir. And I saw one envelope like that, package. And he handed over to me that this is for you. So it was strange. I started laughing. I said, you guys want to dash me money? He said, yes, it's for you. I now said, okay, I hope this money you are giving me maybe is to appreciate me for teaching you very well, not to influence your grades. Because I saw in that envelope, they also listed the names and matric number of people who contributed. And I said, okay, take the money back, confirm from the people who contributed. Because a laborer also is worthy of his wages. Sometimes also, when my pastor preach and I'm blessed with his message, I also do offering, just to sow seed. And that guy came by and said, yes, we give you for teaching us very well. Ladies and gentlemen, when their result came out, my course, they are carryovers. And among those who carry over the course are some of these people who gather. The reality is, I don't even have that time to now go and sit down when I'm marking on compiling result. To now be checking name. This one contributed. This one. And that guy have the audacity to even come and meet me when they pasted their result. Sir, but we gave you. I said, but I told you the money you gave to me is to appreciate me for teaching you well, not to influence grade. If we have people like that, who will do the needful. That's all we have to take time. It's something that is really paining some of us. If we have people like that who will do things the way they ought to be done, we will not be crying for scarcity today in Nigeria in the midst of plenty. We will not be calling Nigeria the giant of Africa, yet we live like dwarf. It's really painful. Is there any other question? I think I've over answered your own question.
Thank you so
The
much.
major
Prof.
thing is corruption. Oh. We know the right thing to do, but as long as somebody want to look the other way, they don't want to do it, we'll continue with this problem. All right, let's go to the last two because of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close, we look at capital expenditure. With what I've done now, you should be able to do the capital expenditure by yourself. Let's see capital expenditure performance report. You give us what is the very first item there. Property, plant, and equipment. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Henry, and ask your question. Unmute. See, capital expenditure, property, plant, and equipment. The amount budgeted for the whole year, see there, is 64,000. And what is the actual expenditure, the amount incurred on that property, plant, and equipment for the month of March? See, it is 4,000. Then we see what is the amount incurred so far from the date they started work or from the beginning of the year to March ending, 14,000. What are the money they are owing contractors? Maybe they've collected some materials from contractors in respect of that property, plant, and equipment, and they have not paid. See it. They still owe contractor 3,000. Contractors have supplied, but it has not been paid for. So if you look at this, we have 64,000 as the annual budget. We have actual expenditure this month, 4,000. We have expenditure to date, 14,000. Can you see that? They are still having liability of 3,000. Let's check. So what is the total expenditure and liability? So on this property, plant, and equipment, which is the capital project, see, equal to from January to March ending, we have spent and paid 14,000 or 14 billion. Let me just call it that one on property, plant, and equipment. Yet we are still owing 3 billion in respect of property, plant. See what we have. It means out of the 64 billion expected to be expensed on property, plant, and equipment as at the end of the first quarter, 17,000. So what do we have as balance remaining? You just say the annual budget minus the 17,000. So we have 47,000 left. Question number, case number 4, case study 4. On 1st December 2016, the balance of the cash advance account of a public sector entity revealed 70,000. During the month, 70 million. During the month, 50 million was approved as cash advances and 40 million was retired during the same period, December 2016. The book of the ministry revealed the composition of the outstanding advances as follows. 1 month old, 12 million, 2 months old, 8 million, 3 months old, 7 million, up to more than 12 months, 4 million. Required. Say prepare the cash advances report as prescribed by FAC, Federation Accounts Allocation Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do here is to go locate we have the templates. See the template here, cash advances reports. See what we have here. And if we have a volunteer to be giving us the figure, but don't worry if you don't. What do we have as the opening balance as at beginning of the month? 70. Do you see I put 70 alone because everything is in
Yes.
million? So if you add they also granted another cash advances during the month. How much is that? Is it 50? 50. So I'll put 50. Watch. Are we there? Then they say less. See something. Less total advances retired during the month. What is the amount retired? Is that 40?
Yes.
So for the 40, since it's an outflow, see what I did? I put minus, say, equal to minus 40. Watch. Can you see something now? 70 at the beginning, additional 50 given, then at the end, they retire only 40. So what will be balance outstanding advances at the month? Since I'm using Excel here, I know 120, see 70 plus 50 is 120 minus 40 is supposed to be 80, right? See what I will just do? I can just highlight this. Huh? I will go to sigma summation.
Yes.
See, it's 80. Hmm? Instead of using formula equal to sum, open bracket, don't worry about that one. And the other shortcut is you highlight everything, including the space or the cell you want your difference to be. So 80 is the outstanding. Now, in cash advances report, the only thing they want you to achieve, now that we have verified, confirm that 80 million is still outstanding by way of advances, break it down. Let us see. Out of this 80, how much is 1 month old that have not been retired? How much is two? How much of it is two? So when you now break down everything, must have a total of this 80. That is cash advances report. And your ministry, department, or agencies, you check what is the policy. Anybody giving cash advance and refuse to retire within 2 months or within 3 months, as the case may be, then the person be sanctioned according to the extant laws. That is the essence of this report. So what you're gonna do for me is just to list, is there in the question, how many month old, 1 month old is 12, right? I'll put 12 here because everything is in million. 2 month old is 8. I'll put 8 there. 3 month old is 7. I'll put 7.
7.
Uh-huh. 4 month old is
6.
what?
6.
6. I'll put
6.
6. 5 month old is what?
4.
4. I'll
Is
put 4 there.
4.
6 month old, is it 4?
Yes.
Okay. 7 month old,
Yes, it's
11.
4, Prof.
11.
No, it's 4. Then, no, it's 7 months old. It's 11.
6 months
6
old
months
is
is 11.
11.
6 month old is 11. Okay.
Yes.
7 month old is what?
Yes, Prof.
2.
It's
2.
2.
It's 2.
Yes.
The 8 month old is what?
5.
8 months is
5.
5.
5. 9 months old is what?
5.5.
Is
Thank you.
5.5.
5.5.
5.5. 10 month old is what?
6.
6.
Is 6.
11 month old is what?
9.5.
9.5.
9.5. And 12 month old is what?
4.
They're more than
4.
12 months.
More
Prof is
than 12
4.
months. Thank you. Is 4. Ladies and gentlemen, all you need to do, just watch. We have how much here?
12.
80. Huh? See what I'm doing? I'll come back here now. Total agree with balance. Let's see the total. I will just say equal to sum open brackets. I'll put this colon. I will put this. I'll click. I just click the first and the last. Enter. Can you see that? That is 80. This is cash advances report. I will leave the class to go and do the last one. Huh? It's a
Okay.
takeaway practice question. You have the last question, case 5,
Prof,
is bank reconciliation statement. So I leave it for you as your practice question. Go and practice this. Just solve. I'm not saying you should submit. If class
Can
is
you
coming
please,
to
Prof, please, can you just go back? Let me see what there is one of the figure I'm trying to check.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I've seen
Right.
it.
Prof, did you add all these outstanding list of outstanding advances to get
Yes, we
80?
said, see, the essence of the cash advances report is this. We have 80 million advances granted that have not been retired. And we are
Okay.
saying the breakdown now revealed that out of that 80 million, how much is 1 month old that have not been retired? That's 12. So it is addition of all that must give you that 80. That's what I just did. And if you are using Excel, it's just formula. See what I did? Say equal to sum, SUM, you open a bracket, you click on 12, shift, colon, then you click on 4, then you close your bracket, enter. It's one of the reasons I encourage you become a chartered certified system accountant, ACCSA Global, where we deploy digital tools in accounting and related disciplines. All right. Have a good evening. It's time for comment or questions. We are done with class for today. By God's grace, this time again, tomorrow or next week, we go to IFRS. After treating, I've shared the case studies for IFRS on your platform. Once we take care of those case studies, we have only one more contact left. And that you use your time for other better things. Huh? Question, Mr. Henry, I think you asked your question. Mr. Joseph, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, good evening, Prof.
Good evening, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for the lecture, sir. My question is this. The format you gave to us is it's impossible for us to have the template on our exam. So we need to go and we need to have idea of the templates.
Which one is that? Which of
All
the
of the
performance
templates.
report?
All of
See,
the
see, wait
He's
now.
talking about the template.
the
No,
template you give us.
the
You have a
exam.
template which you just pick figure and put.
Uh, see,
In
I've
our
That's
case,
addressed.
what
is
we do.
Wait now, I've addressed this thing before now. I
okay,
said
sir.
all you just need is to have a mental picture of what that performance report is talking about. See, then you put it in exam. Somebody may even decide not to do rectangle or any shape cell. You will just say, okay, column one, what is the particular? What is the item head? Column two, what is the budget for the year? Column three, what is the actual expenditure for the month? Column four, what is the expenditure to date? Column five, what is the liability committed? Column six, what is the total expenditure and liability committed? The last column, what is the balance available? I'm talking about recurrent expenditure. It's just for you to have the idea of what he's talking about. That's formal. You don't need to follow this template. I think the last question we solved in class, when I came to class also, I drew your attention. If you look at the format I gave to, okay, that one you solve it yourself. I didn't give you format. If I had given you the
Yeah.
format for a first time adoption of IPSAS ACCRUAL, you will see in the format, they have a lot of items in that format. But the question we saw, like non-current liabilities, in the format, you will see items like, of course, property, plant and equipment, biological asset, you will see investment property, you will see investment, and many other items. But from that format, when you are given a question, you may not need to post only one item. So it doesn't mean in exam, because you have a format that listed all the possible items under non-current liability, you are now going to exam all and download all those items also, despite the fact that you are not posting anything.
You don't need them. It's true.
That's why I keep telling people all you just need is to have an idea. For example, you say statement of financial position under IPSAS accrual. What are the items that make up my current asset? And I've told us items are arranged in order of liquidity. I said cash and cash equivalent, prepayment, receivable, maybe investment, short-time investment. You total that one. So please don't think about any template in exam. If it's like the United States, I'm not trying to peculiarize our challenges. So in fact, we even have some better advantages because our own is biro and paper. Here, what they do, even from their middle school, high school, what we call junior secondary school and senior secondary school in Nigeria, they have Chromebooks they give to these children that they use for their exam. Then the same thing when you go to their university, some of them also they give them access to use systems, sometimes calculator. Why? They are preparing them for the industry, not just to pass. What's the essence of somebody say, I have a first class or I have a distinction, my MSc or PhD, and shortly after the PhD, see job, you are employed and you cannot deliver. So they prepare them. But then the advantage we have, we are doing biro and paper. At least you will not have opportunity to use AI in your exam. You will use your brain. Thank you. Any other
Thank you, sir.
question?
Noted, sir.
You're welcome, sir. All right.
Hello,
If there's
sir.
no any other question, have a
Maybe,
wonderful
sir.
evening. Huh?
Oh,
Somebody is asking.
maybe, sir.
Is it a question?
Contribution,
All
sir.
right. All right. Have a wonderful
Okay.
evening. Now go to Moko. Say the Safia. All right.